The media's favorite way to report a story is from their prison of two ideas, where they are lifers. In that two-idea cell, you're either pro-immigration or a xenophobic bigot. You either love this planet or embrace evil big oil. You're either for peace or you want war. Their latest, you either shut down the economy indefinitely or you want people to die. That preposterous filter makes it easier for them to slam the other side. It absolves them of nuance, intelligence, and thoughtfulness, which are completely missing here.
He's a fan of money first, mortality second. The greatest generation, they're going to be sacrificed. For what? Fear that Trump's efforts to be president will be hurt?
He's going too fast, causing confusion, and quite possibly endangering lives in the process.
Stay in, and for the president to make light of that as if it's like, well, so what? Some people will die, but the economy will grow. No.
The president who's eager to try to get the economy back on track because he sees it as wedded to his chances of being reelected.
The president is putting human life at risk. It's literally immoral.
Literally. Who is she? Now, do they really believe Trump is putting the economy before human life? No. It's just a game these idiots play to keep busy. Fact is, solutions to problems aren't either or, but this and that. The solution here will be flexible and ever-changing, depending on the risks as we identify them. So it may be that we return to work in phases, young and healthy first, perhaps depending on region and type of business. There are lots of factors and also reasons for guarded optimism. It's why Fauci and Trump work well together. Fauci's the cautious voice. Trump is the generator of hope, understanding that people crave deadlines, even if those deadlines change. The press forgets that when it's bad cop, good cop, both cops want the same outcome. What would the media prefer Trump to say? It doesn't matter at all, since they're often wrong. But a smart person can stand back and see the whole field. The media just stares at one patch of the ground and screams at the ants. You know, Dana, I think that, Trump understands that people need a measure of certainty, and the certainty comes in a date. Even though the date is going to change, the idea that you could see a light at the end of the tunnel is a way that you could be optimistic and get through the next week or 2 weeks. Smart people understand this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so permission to make an analogy?
What?
Okay, so I have permission granted to make an analogy.
Oh, I didn't hear you because Sean was doing a tease in my ear.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, Sean. Okay, so my analogy is this. If you've ever worked out with a trainer.
Yes.
Let's say they tell you you're going to do 15 squats, 3 sets of 15. Mm-hmm. And you finish that, and then they say, all right, one more set of 15. And
right.
You're like, what? But you know what? You do it because it's good for you.
Yes.
And you get through it. And so I sort of think about this like, can I make it to Easter?
Yeah.
Can I make it to Easter? Yes, I can make it to Easter. Now, if at that point they say, you know what? We got to do one more week.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can do one more week. It's good for me. And I think that, to your point, this will be done thoughtfully. There's nothing rash going on, except for maybe throwing $25 million to the Kennedy Center.
Yes.
That's a little rash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Juan, is it fair to say that, the president would choose an economy over the death of its citizens?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I just don't think that's what we should be saying about President Trump or anybody. I mean, we got to understand it. But to my mind, this is what I was trying to say yesterday. I think there's a disconnect, even if you try to look at the president as an optimist, a cheerleader for all of us. There's a disconnect between what he's saying and what we're hearing from the scientists and from the doctors, including Dr. Fauci, with regard to when we could realistically expect to lift this. Because if we rush this, Greg, and say, let's get back to work by Easter, then we could incur a second wave of this kind of coronavirus outbreak and get that, the famous curve could, spike again. And we don't want that because that's not good for the economy. And it's certainly not good for people who are at high risk, grandma and granddad.
Right.
Even me.
Yes.
So we want to keep me alive.
I want you to get you back to work,
To say
Juan.
that it's just the president, Thank you. But I just think that, to blame the president, I think it's to say, Mr. President, please pay attention. There's nobody in our society that we should be writing off. But even if you're just thinking about the economy, keep in mind what the doctors and scientists are saying. We need to be able to rely on you as a trustworthy source. And right now, people are not so much interested in the kind of cheerleading as they want to know exactly what we're up against. But what are we being required to do that will help us?
But
get through
Jesse,
this?
it seems that the public do trust President Trump on this, and the optimism is valuable when it's paired to, say, the sober analysis of the expert Fauci. That's why they're together, the good cop, bad cop.
I know Juan hates polls, but the polls say the public trusts Trump over the media. Don't mean to rub it in, that's just a fact. Juan, someone just sent me a great line. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
If you tell people that if you have to stay inside for 7 days straight in order to save the 2020 football season, the entire South would be locked in their room right now. Do it for football.
Do it
for football. All right. So that's how you got to get it across to people. And I agree with Greg. It's a false dichotomy. You're not saying let's open up business in order to pay Wall Street bonuses. That's not what you're doing. You're not trying to say, let's kill grandma so Wall Street fat cats can get rich. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, we're going to look at the science, the data, and the models, not the models that Juan likes, the models with the graphs. Oh. And that's going to determine if Easter's the right date or we have to extend it another week like Dana's trainer makes her. That doesn't mean you're killing people so we get a higher GDP. That just means you're working smart, you're working safely, because a lot of Americans outside of New York feel like they'll take my chance with coronavirus, but I'm not going to take my chance with a Great Depression.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people that get coronavirus don't die. That's not saying it's not a threat. That's not saying it's not a risk. But people see risks in other measures, and that's what you're trying to balance.
Katie, last word. What do you think?
Right.
Hey, Greg, before you go,
Greg,
can I just make a quick point?
Oh, wait, let me just get Katie in. Juan.
Oh, go right ahead.
Greg,
go right
I'm
ahead,
going to make
Katie.
a prediction on the media narrative here. So when he does start opening up the economy incrementally, he's not just going to open up everything right away.
Right.
They're going to complain about the border to Mexico not being opened up fast enough, for example. They're going to say that the Chinese should be able to fly back and forth and that the Europeans should also be able to fly back and forth if he doesn't open up those things fast enough. But the stimulus bill that they're trying to get done in D.C. right now as we speak will buy them time so that the medical experts have more time to convince the public and to ask them, as they have been doing, to follow the guidelines so we can get out of this thing. And then President Trump will be able to make some economic moves. There are places in the country that will not, there will be longer implications for this, like New York, like California. Right. But the idea that Democrats don't like this and the media don't like it either, because President Trump is speaking to the workers that they are supposed to be in charge of, that they are supposed to be in control of politically. President Trump has always spoken to the workers. He's always had a populist message, and that is the same today. And that's why they're having a visceral reaction to this, because that's exactly who he's talking to.
All right.
Well, can I just say, I hope that he's looking out for workers and their families, but I just wanted to make a quick point about the arts and even about the Green New Deal that you guys keep harping on. You know, there are a lot of people going back to the 2008 where you saw people say, we got to save America's arts and cultures because there are millions of jobs related to arts and culture like sports, and there's millions of jobs in renewable energy.
Well, Juan,
so
there's a lot more jobs in restaurants and hospitality than at the
donors.
Kennedy Center.
There are jobs there too, but I'm saying it's about jobs.
But 25 million for the Kennedy Center?
Not fair.
All right, you know what? I see Juan's point, but I, for one, am not going to miss performance art. Okay? That doesn't come back. I will live.